Okay, my first question to you is, how did you get started? How did your career begin in the industry?
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go way back for that one. Well, this is kind of silly, but I don't remember this. This is what I've been told. That when I was little and there was the music playing in a restaurant or something, I would get on the table and start singing. You know, something ridiculous like that. So finally, my uncle said to my mom, "Will you please do something with this kid?" And so what happened was it was dancing school, and I had singing lessons and all of that. And what happened was that there was a show on TV, because I'm from Baltimore, and it was called The Collegians. And The Collegians was a half-hour TV kiddie show, like Ted Mack back in the day. Mm-hmm. And it was, that's how it all started. And then I auditioned when I was 10, 11, for the Tony Grant Stars of Tomorrow Review. And that was in Atlantic City on the Steel Pier. I don't know if you know what that is, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
They used to have a diving horse where the lady would climb all the way up to this tower, and the horse was there. And the horse was blind, but it would jump into this huge water thing,
oh, wow.
And like a pool for this horse, and it was fascinating to see. And at the Stars of Tomorrow Review, it was a kiddie show in this big theater, and I sang there for 2 weeks in the summer. And then right next door was the music hall for major acts that would come in. So my brother and I, when we were little, we used to like to watch the Three Stooges. And I actually got to see them live at the music hall.
Oh, wow.
Larry Moe and it wasn't Curly, he was gone, but Larry Moe and Joe. And it was fascinating to watch how the band in the pits would actually do all of their slapstick and make all the sounds. It was all arranged and choreographed, and it was just fascinating to see that. So that's how I started. And then this lady from New York came down to the Stars of Tomorrow Review and interviewed some of the performers in our show. Mm-hmm. And I was one of them, and she was a manager. And so through her, I got an agent, and I started doing commercials. And my mom and I would go on the train to audition in New York. It was crazy. And so I got some commercials, stuff like that. And what happened after that, because you can't do this anymore, I was 12, 13 at the time, and it was getting expensive to go on the train. So I took the Trailways bus. I don't even know, does that still exist anymore? And they used to have a stewardess on board that would give you sandwiches and consomme and soda and stuff like that, mm-hmm. from Baltimore to New York. And once in a while, if I had a call back from an audition, I would stay at this hotel by myself. The hotel would call my mom, get the credit card for me to stay overnight at this hotel. So I just stayed there. I didn't think anything of it. Neither did she at the time. It was a different time. Mm-hmm. And I just order room service, and the next day I'd get a cab and go to the audition and catch the train to go home. That's what I did by myself at the time.
Wow.
Because it was getting too expensive. Yeah, and I didn't think anything of it. I was always told by my manager, just walk like you know where you're going, and nobody will bother you. So that's what I did. That's how I all got started.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. And you're still in the industry, right? You're still working? Are you
Well, I haven't been working for the last few years. I've been writing instead. I'm in Big Bear, California. Big Bear, it's a mountain community, and they have ski resorts here. And so my agent here is in LA. It's hard to get to auditions when you're in Big Bear, because sometimes they would call. We used to live in Burbank, and it's difficult. Nancy, can you show up in 20 minutes at such and such studio or whatever? And it doesn't work when you live in the mountains. It takes a lot longer than that. So once in a while, they still send me out on auditions, but I really haven't done much since we started living here full time. But I decided to, what do you call that? Do something different, redo myself. And I had this story about flight nurses in World War II. So I decided to do a lot of research, and I just finished a manuscript on that, and that's sitting in at Warner Brothers collecting dust at the moment because nobody can go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah.
How is it with you there?
Well, it's kind of the same, we're on lockdown in a way, we can't go anywhere. Thankfully, I have my own home studio, and can do my radio interviews, but not much else,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But anyway, just to move on a bit for you, that's how I got started. And well, I guess from there, I auditioned. I was part of a Baltimore Actors Theater and did stage shows as a kid. And then I got an audition to see if I could be a replacement for Rockette at Radio City Music Hall. Mm-hmm. And I made that, and I did that for a little while. That was something we did. 5 shows a day, 7 days a week, for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then we got 3 days off, and we do 5 shows a day, 7 days a week for 4 weeks. And we got 3 days off. So it was a grueling, if you what they would do is they would, you had 3 written warnings, and you had 3 oral warnings, and then you were out. That's how they did stuff. So if I was late, by a minute, I would get a written warning, which happened a couple of times. But, yeah, and you have to be so stiff and synchronized so everybody looks the same. And I had a problem with that. I just wanted to perform. And so I would get a written warning for showing off on stage. They didn't like that. But at the time, we made, 125, 150 a week at that time.
Oh, wow.
And I was staying at the YWCA on 8th Avenue, and you could get $47.50 a week, which you had a room and a bath yourself and 2 meals. But the meals didn't make any difference with my schedule at the theater, so I found an apartment on 54th and Broadway. It's a single apartment. It was $50 a week and $25 a month for my phone. And basically, I didn't live on much of anything. Just macaroni and cheese and stuff like that. But I had my agent still. My commercial agent was there. And I was 18 now at the time. Mm-hmm. And in between shows, if I got lucky, I could go on these auditions and take all my eyelashes off and the heavy makeup and go on these commercials, auditions. So I got one, and I got to figure out how am I going to do that because I'm not making any money. I'm broke. Mm-hmm. So we had 36 girls in 2 different dressing rooms, and you're in a row. And the girl next to me, who became very friendly with me, I thought she was a nice girl until she ratted on me. I said, I got to call in sick tomorrow because I got a commercial. I'm going to make some money. And she told Russell Market, who started the Rockettes back in Chicago, calling them the Roxyettes at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, they fired me for doing a commercial. Oh, wow. And they didn't even give me any leeway at all. I can't afford to live here. I'm a Rockette and I'm not making any money. So they fired me, so that was that. Mm-hmm. And I went back to Maryland and went home. I entered this, I was a Miss Teen everything. And you know, a lot of people in today's world, they don't like pageants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, I was, at 13, I was Miss Teenage Baltimore, and I went to the Miss Teenage America contest in Dallas. And I didn't make anything because I was 13. I was the youngest one. But the whole thing is, with these little teen things, is I got to travel and do stuff that most kids wouldn't be able to do. And we did a lot of charity and a lot of meeting people and all that kind of thing. And it was fabulous. My mom went with me. It was a blast. It was really a blast.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Yeah.
So where was I going? What did I just say? Let's see. Oh, I know what it was. It's so I entered another contest. It was Maryland Model of the Year. Mm-hmm. And the winner of that goes to California. I said, here's my out. I'm going to get out of New York. I'm going to go to Cal. If I win this thing, I'll go to California and I'll stay there somehow. Mm-hmm. And I won. I was flown to California. I didn't do anything. I only made local contests. I never won the big prize. But I stayed there with a chaperone that was involved with the Maryland Model of the Year contest and the national. And I stayed with her. And I started getting an agent, taking my headshots around town, and trying to see what I could do. Mm-hmm. So then, there was an audition for the Dean Martin Gold Diggers. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's cool. So anyway, I auditioned for that. It was in the Variety paper. And what the producer did, the line was around the block with a whole bunch of women, you know? Mm-hmm. And you go into the rehearsal hall here, and he just goes, you, the rest, thank you. And so I got chosen, but I didn't make it the first time around because he said I was too heavy for camera. My face looked too fat. So, okay, thank you. So he said, lose some weight and come back. And it was too bad because that would have been the last year that Bob Hope did his Christmas show in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. That was 1971, and I auditioned at the end of 70. So I missed out on getting to Vietnam because I had a fat face. So I said, I'll never do that again. I didn't realize I put on that much weight. So I went back home, took off 12, 15 pounds,